Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. If you're new to my channel, welcome! Thank you for subscribing below. Click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thanks for giving the video a thumbs up. I do readings. I do twin flame readings, romance, life path and purpose, or general readings. You can book your reading at my website, fondinwellness.com. This is the tarot reading for Divine Masculine Twin Flames, Messages to Divine Feminines. Today is Friday, May 22nd, 2020. It is also New Moon Day. Happy New Moon in Gemini, and happy birthday to all of you Geminis who are celebrating a birthday in this upcoming month. So I'd like to get a read on the energy for Divine Masculines. Currently, we're kind of doing it about every 2 weeks since I am doing another video series in parallel to this series as well on Twin Flames. I'm doing a dating and romance series and a little bit the Power to Manifest series, which I haven't done a video for in quite some time, but I will do that coming up. And the energy for this week, it's really interesting because I have heard from more of you viewers and also clients that are also viewers who I have coached and who were previously in total separation, who have heard from their Divine Masculines this week. So we're talking about this week leading up to today's reading, May 22nd, 2020. And we are talking about twin flames that have been in total separation for months or for perhaps a year or two that have come back into contact this week. Now, it's been trickling in. It's been happening. I believe that before we went into quarantine, or right around the time we went into quarantine, if you look back at those readings, I had reports of many twin flames coming back into reunion or back into contact right around the time that lockdown began. And I haven't heard so much about reunion conversations, if you will, in the past 3 to 4 weeks. Maybe a little bit more in the 2 to 3 week range. But this week in particular, it's really interesting because I've heard from some of you who said that you came back into contact with your Divine Masculine after not having heard from him or her for several weeks, several months, or perhaps even several years. I'm going to go ahead and get the energy read on Divine Masculine for this week, this upcoming week, starting May 22nd, 2020. So dear God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, Mother Mary, Archangels, Angels of God, Divine Masculines, Guardian Angels, please let this reading be of the highest light and love of God the Father. Let it bring light, love, and truth to everyone involved. Archangel Michael, please stand guard, casting away any lower energies with your sword of light. Twin flame angels and romance angels, please give us an overview of the energy for the Divine Masculine starting today, May 22nd, 2020. This collective that I read for, this collective, this group of people, this group of Divine Masculines, what is this current overall energy? Angels, please help us to understand what's going on with them. This one tentatively came up, but I believe it was meant to be. We have got the Star card, Archangel Jophiel. Now, the interesting piece about the Star card is that I believe we also received the Star card for the Monday weekly tarot reading for the Divine Feminines. This is really beautiful. This is the Archangel Power Tarot deck. I love working with the angels. I always work with the angels and the archangels. And this one, just like the other deck that I was using on Monday, this is Archangel Jophiel, the angel of beauty, the angel of nature, the angel of feng shui even. And this says, a dream come true, believe in yourself, the end of a difficult situation. I like the reading of this card deck. I like the reading of the other card deck, other tarot decks as well. because I believe that the authors of the tarot decks have a slightly different spin on the interpretation and the wording that they use for each of the tarot cards, just depending on who they are and what their experience is with tarot. Now, for some of you that don't know, this is a major arcana card, the Star, wishes coming true, making long-term plans, abundance, beauty, mystery, abundance of love, and abundance of happiness, and abundance of joy. The Star is truly a great energy to be in because you are really manifesting infinite possibilities. And what better day for the Divine Masculine Collective to be manifesting infinite possibilities than on the new moon. The new moon is often a time of new beginnings where you can start to manifest the things that you do desire. Full moon is typically about letting go, purging out, letting go of things, and the new moon is often about restarting, rekindling. And I love this as an energy for Divine Masculines to be in. And I believe, since I have begun reading for Divine Masculines and Divine Feminines, this is the very first time I've actually gotten the Star card for the Divine Masculines in this collective, which means that they are in a very good place for the most part. They're in a very good place, which also means that that is probably the reason why I have heard many Divine Masculines reaching out to their Divine Feminines. Really great energy and great place to be in. Now, as some of you know, for the Divine Masculine reading, what I get is I get messages that they have, love and romance messages that the Divine Masculine has to give to Divine Feminines. So to that end, I picked several different romance cards from several different decks just to get a good glimpse as to the messages of love that they want to give to you, the Divine Feminines. So Divine Masculines, if you could say anything to the Divine Feminines in your head and heart space and also from your soul space, what would you say to them? So please, Twin Flame Angels and Romance Angels, help the Divine Masculines to portray these messages to Divine Feminines for this week. We've got this one. Let's pick one from the Romance deck as well. This is one of my favorite decks. It's out of print, but it is really good, and I love the depictions, the pictures, the wording. So this is from Divine Masculines to Divine Feminines for this week. And we're going to pick a Messages of Love card right here. Energy from Divine Masculines to the Divine Feminines for this week. What do they want to tell their Divine Feminines this week? What about this energy? Okay, that one just flew out. I'm actually going to pick a second card from these Messages of Love cards here for Divine Feminines. And then let's pick two from the Hidden Truth Oracle. Let's see what comes up. I was marveling at the fact that for the Messages of Love and for this deck, which is the Hidden Truth Oracle, that even though, and even for this deck, the Romance deck, even though each of these decks has roughly 44 to 45 cards, this one has 44, I believe these have like 46 maybe. Even though we have 46 cards and 44 cards in these decks, it's like we get the same 10 cards over and over and over again throughout the readings. It's very interesting. These are messages from Divine Masculine. What could Divine Masculine say if he had anything to say to Divine Feminines this week? What would they say on their heart space? They could say anything. Okay. Let's begin with the Whispers of Love cards, which are absolutely beautiful, from Josephine Wall. It says, ask for help. What is it you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support that you need. This is the message from your Divine Masculine to you, the Divine Feminine. It says, be willing to ask for help. They must be feeling your burden, Divine Feminines. They must be feeling the burden, the heavy weight that you've been carrying on your shoulders. I feel like even though some of you, and maybe a majority of you, are in separation from your Divine Masculines, they can still feel you. They feel your energy. They feel what you are feeling. They can feel the heaviness of the burden, and perhaps maybe you've been trying to be a little too independent, in the sense that we can be interdependent on other people, which means that we carry our burdens, and then the burdens that we have a difficult time carrying on our own, we then are called to be interdependent on others, to ask for help. Whether it's debt consolidation because you're having trouble paying off your bills, or whether it's applying for unemployment, or whether it's getting someone to help you clean your home or take care of the kids. And I know this is coronavirus time, I understand that. But maybe grandma could get on a FaceTime call, a Skype call, a Zoom call with the grandkids and entertain them for an hour so you can get up and clean the house, or you can get up and make dinner. So there are many various ways in which you can actually reach out and ask for help. And what they're telling you is that you don't need to do it all alone, that you can actually ask for the help that you need and lift that burden off of your own shoulders. And for Divine Feminines, this is one way in which you are becoming more balanced. Because believe me, I know I was like the sacrificial lamb for years, where I was a single mom raising 3 kids. I owned a business, doing everything on my own, everything on my own. And I rarely asked for help from others. And it really wore me down. It wore me down big time, until I actually learned, all right, I can't really do this on my own, all of it, and stay sane. So I really need to reach out here and there to different people and just ask for help. Get a housekeeper if you need it. But those are the things that your Divine Masculine is asking you to do to start rebalancing yourself again. It's good to be independent. It's good to do things on your own. It's good to stand on your own 2 feet. Of course it is. But also you have to know where your rope ends. Like, where does your rope end? I love this so much because when I picked up this deck too, this is the past life relationship card. And this is your Divine Masculine telling you that they know now, if they haven't realized it already, they do recognize it. They recognize it right now, today. They're in total recognition that this is a past life relationship. They may have denied it before. They may have felt like, oh my gosh, like, why do we share this telepathy? Or why do we think the same thoughts? Or why do we finish each other's sentences? And why do I feel you? And why do you feel me? I don't understand this. This is freaking me out. And you might have even told them like, oh yeah, this is probably like a past life relationship or twin flames or soulmates or whatever you brought out and told them. And maybe you didn't tell them. Maybe you didn't have the strength to tell them, only because they were like running away so hard from you and they were telling you they were scared. And through this time, through all of this time that you've been separated, and through all of this time that they've had to think about things, even if they didn't have a notion of past lives or they didn't really believe in that stuff, they finally have come to the conclusion now that this is the only reasonable explanation. Like, we must have known each other before. We must have journeyed together on Earth before, because nothing else makes sense. It totally doesn't make sense. Because with your twin flame, does it ever almost feel like when you met them, you were just like picking up where you left off somewhere? Like, when you met them, it wasn't like you were meeting them for the first time. And it almost was like a soulmate relationship will feel like, oh my God, I've known you for centuries. With a soulmate relationship, it will feel like that. But with a twin flame, it almost feels like you're picking up where you left off. It's very strange, but it does feel like that. Like, when I tell my story, and I tell this in my book, I don't tell a lot of stories about my twin flame, but I tell the story in my book that when we first had our like heart chakra opening conversation, that the first topic of conversation that we had together was about marriage, about getting married. Now, not necessarily getting married to each other, but it was about getting married. It was about marriage. It was about finding a home. And it was funny because the look in my twin flame's eye that he gave me when we began this conversation, we really didn't know each other in the 3D physical world. we began a conversation talking about marriage, which is weird because you don't typically do that in a first conversation. But the look in his eyes told me, and that kind of freaked me out. Believe me, I was the runner in the beginning, but the look in his eyes told me we've had this conversation. Like, you are my wife and we have had this conversation. So it was like so freaky, but this is what this is that it's almost like, it's like you guys are picking up from where you left off in a past life. So that's really cool that they do recognize it, but they're letting you know. They're saying like, yeah, I have actually like figured this out now. I understand that there is no other explanation for what's happening here. It's that we've been in past lives together. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Remember how with this deck, I was just picking one card and I said, I'm going to go ahead and pick two. And I understand why I was prompted then to pick two, because they very much go hand in hand together. So I got Go Slow and Patience. Oh my gosh. And let's put them this way so you guys can read them in sequential order. But Go Slow and Patience, Go Slow and Patience. I love it. It's the same thing, right? It's basically saying, when you guys come back together, and this is what your Divine Masculine's telling you, they're saying, please, this has been a hard journey for me. Please, when I come back to you, we're going to take this slowly, and you need to have patience with me. This has been a really tough ride for me. There's been so many things in this journey that I don't understand. There's been so many things in this journey that has been an upheaval for me, an upheaval of emotions, an upheaval of trust issues, an upheaval of my childhood wounds, an upheaval of just all of this like stuff that is coming to me because I met you, because I went into a fast and furious relationship with you. All of this stuff came to me and it's like my world came crashing down. So they're asking you, they're begging you, they're saying, please, Divine Feminine, please, I need you to be able to allow me to take this slow. And I need you to have patience with me. This is not an easy journey for either one of us. And so I need you to trust me that I know where I'm going with this. I know how this is going to unfold. I can see our path clearly. And this is what I need you to believe in. Like, I need you to believe that going slow and having patience is the right thing for us to do. Beautiful message, you guys. It's really funny because this one, remember how I said, like, it seems that in some of these decks, we have like the same 10 cards that keep going around and around and around. For the Hidden Truth Oracle, this is one of the cases where it's like, there are maybe, I'm like trying to see like what, there are maybe 10, 15, maybe out of the 44, maybe 10 or 15 that we've seen in this deck in these readings. So funny. This is really weird because this one we've seen several times, and this is, I wish I could share my good news with you. There's been some changes in their life recently. And when I say recently, I am talking about from the beginning of quarantine. I'm talking about from the time things started to shut down until now. There have been changes in their lives. There has been so much growth and so much realization that has been happening for this Divine Masculine collective that they were on a fast track to learning before, but now in the past 3 months, or I don't know, has it been 3 months? Maybe 2 months, 2.5 months. Let's just say 2.5 months. For the past 2.5 months, they've been on an even faster track to their learning and growth. And there has been a lot of changes in their lives. Now, some of these changes can't come into 3D development until a lot of the restrictions have been eased because for some of them it's about finding a new job or getting that new job. For some of them it's like moving out of the place that they're in. For some of them it's like divorcing the person that they're with or breaking up with the person that they're with. I mean, there's just so many variables to this, but they have been making those changes, and those changes have been coming not from the external, but from the internal. Those changes have been coming from deep within them. And they want to make these changes now. They're ready to make these changes now. They're enlightened. Like I said, they've gotten this. They've gotten that this is a past life relationship. They've almost gotten the fact that you guys have this soul contract that you need to carry out, and that there's no way around this. It's kind of like they know now. They thought there was a way around it, but they know now there's really not a way around it. And I really believe that's why the Star card came up, because it's almost like the epiphany of the truth came through, and now they're seeing the starry night sky, whereas before they could just see total darkness, and that scared them. But now they see the starry night sky because they had the epiphany that allowed them to have that realization. Finding out the truth crushed me. Honestly, I know for many of you, and rightfully so, right on, for many of you Divine Feminines, you've either moved on with other people or you've been dating other people. Maybe not during quarantine, I don't know. But you've been moving on from other people, you've been dating other people, but also some of you have made the decision, and you wouldn't be here if this was a hard and fast decision, but some of you have made the decision that you're not sure that this is what you want. This twin flame connection is not what you want in life. That you want something easier, you want something that's going to be more rewarding right away. But I feel that for some of them out there, they have been looking you up, either on social media, Instagram, whatever, and they've been asking friends or friends of your friends, and just to see if you've been with somebody else, if you've been dating or seeing someone else since the big separation happened. And for some of you that have been dating, which I said, right on, like, you can't wait around forever. Like, you can stay committed to your soul contract with your twin and still decide to, like, for today, I'm going to live my life. For today, this is what I need to do. I've been in separation. For some of you, it's been 6 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, as an example. And for some of you, it's just like, I can't keep my life at a standstill just waiting for them to change. But they are having a lot of these aha moments, and the visual that the angels gave me was, have you ever seen those circus games, or circus, like fair, those country fair games where it's a game that little kids can play with. It's like a little plastic hammer, or like it has like spongy around it, and there's like the little gophers that pop up, and the goal is to like hit them back down. And that is the imagery that they gave me, is that that's what's been happening to them. And it's not pounding it back down, but it's just that they've had those little like animals or gophers like pop up with all these epiphanies they've been having. It's just they've had epiphany after epiphany, and it's just been happening and happening and happening. So they're coming not only to the realizations of the soul contract of this relationship with the past life, but they're also coming to the realization that you, Divine Feminine, you've moved on. And you've gone on with your life, meaning you're not just sitting there crying in your corner, just waiting for them. And that scares them, because part of them is saying like, oh my gosh, she really has moved on? Like, is she going to come back to me? Is it too late? Does she want to come back to me? Which is good, because like I said, you can't always just, pine over this relationship, because that can be very counterproductive. You can keep a vision for the reconnection in the 3D world. Remember, with your twin, you're never disconnected, but in the 3D world with your twin, and still live your life. You can still live your life. So I think this is a really, really, really good overview of where the Divine Masculine is at this week. It looks great. Like I said, Divine Masculine's right on. Like, you guys have been just like growing and changing and becoming that spiritual guru. Like, you've been becoming that like divine light, which is totally amazing. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a great week. Thank you for subscribing to my channel below. click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and thank you for giving the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames, and thank you guys for supporting my YouTube channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. You can also pledge your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/MichelleSFondin, and I will see you in the next video.